I'm Anil Kumar, and here is a review question on rational functions. Suppose that n is a constant and f of x is a polynomial function defined when x equals to n. Complete the following sentence. So we have got four different conditions. First is, if f of n is large, then 1 over f of n is what? If f of n is small, then the reciprocal of f of n is what? If f of n equals to 0, then 1 over f of n, which is the reciprocal of the function, at n is what? If the value of the function at n is positive, then what is the value of the function, reciprocal of the function, at x equals to n? So that is the kind of question we have. Now, some of my students could not really understand the language, and that's why in explaining these points I have used different terminologies. Let me go one step further, right? So what I will do here is that I'll just sketch a polynomial, random, right? You know, polynomials are smooth figures. Let's say this is my polynomial. And now with the help of this, we'll try to answer the solution, or we'll try to find the solution for this question, okay? Let's look into the question once again and understand. Suppose that n is a constant, that means like any value in the domain of the function, and f of x is a polynomial function as we have drawn. So what we've drawn is f of x. Polynomial function defined when x equals to n. Fortunately, polynomial has no restrictions on domain, so it is defined for all values of n, right? Complete the following sentences. First one, if f of n is large, that really means what? Large means that like it's going towards negative infinity or positive infinity, right? So you can think like if x is approaching infinity, or if x is approaching minus infinity, that is a very large number, right? Then 1 over f of n is what? Now, then 1 over f of n. So we are considering now reciprocal of f of x. So let us say we write reciprocal of f of x, and we are saying when x is large, then what is happening to the reciprocal of f of x? So what we see here is it will be approaching 0, right? If it is negative large, then it will be approaching 0 from the negative side. But in either case, what is really happening is that the function value is approaching to a small value, right? So then f of n is small. We can write small, or we could write approaching 0, right? Either way, to a very small value. That is what the answer is. Second part is, if f of n is small, then 1 over f of n is what? Let us say that this value here is minus 1 and this value here is plus 1, right? When we say f of n is small, means close to 0, then 1 over that small value is going to be a large value. Is it okay? So therefore the answer is, if f of n is small, then 1 over f of n is large. Next part is, if f of n is 0, then 1 over f of n is what? Now as you can see, if f of n is 0, that is the x-intercept, then 1 over f will be 1 over 0, which is not defined. So we'll have a vertical asymptote at those points. Do you see that? We'll have vertical asymptote at those points, correct? So we can answer this question. If f of n is 0, then 1 over f of n is undefined, right? It leads to vertical asymptotes, correct? Last part here is, if f of n is positive, then 1 over f of n is, if I am doing reciprocal of positive values, I'll get a positive value, correct? Then 1 over f of n is also positive. Is it okay? So that is how you need to understand and answer this question. I hope the point is clear. Thank you and all the best.